Hey, welcome to an episode of Choppin' It Up. This is when I bring on most dope people. I enjoy their brains, their perspective, the way they see football, and we just talk some ball. Shout out to everybody who's watching on Patreon, getting the full episode. $6 a month gets you easily 20 hours a month, at least 3 episodes a week of extra content on top of everything we do on our public forums. We have uh, match previews. B. Flynn joined us to talk Dortmund. Michael Reed, he is one of the data editors for OptaJoe. He came on to talk with Liverpool. Have an episode with actually I'm on a nice little 93-20 run right now. Last week I chatted with Howard Hawkin. That comes out soon. Guest today we have, and then next week I have Asan Naeem coming on. But we had an episode that just dropped talking some Argentinian football. Last week dropped an episode talking some Bundesliga. Good times over here. If you're watching on YouTube in a podcast form, and you just see that it's 11 minutes long, that is because you haven't subscribed. Hit the link in that episode description and subscribe. $6 a month. That's just one drink at a bar. Actually, it's probably cheaper than a drink at a bar nowadays, the way that things are going. Yeah, hang out with us, get some great content, learn about more about footy. We do cool things over here. But today, I'm super excited. Shout out Sky Blue Times. He has been a whirlwind. He has turned the energy up at 93-20. He's a great mind. If you don't know him, then you are really messing up when it comes to city content. Like, who are you following? You just following the trolls, ain't you? Give it up, Shady Gang, for our friend Bailey. What's up? What's up?
Hey man, yeah, love to be back on. Really enjoyed my time last time. Always feel like when you come on here, we end up coming away from it feeling as if there's so much more we didn't get to talk about. So I always look forward to coming on the next time. And then City are just really interesting at the moment, aren't they? I think good and bad points, the way it's moving, discussions about players online. Like, I think it's just lots to talk about, really, is it? So it's good to come on.
It really was, and honestly, trying to like think of the questions and the points and everything, I was just like, what do I even put? Because so there are a couple of them that I put it in there specifically because I think it can help us like we'll swerve and tangent and we'll just talk about anything and everything. Because I sometimes you want to talk about a specific person and a specific thing, but also it's like, dang, I want to talk a little bit about this person and a little bit about this person. How's the best way to do that? And here we are. And normally we start our episodes off with what is something overrated and underrated. I was like, we ain't got time for that. We got some real conversations to be had right now. And I want to start with the man of the season. No, I'm not talking about Erling Haaland. I'm talking about Matthias Nunes. So a couple of weeks ago, Pep said that he believes Nunes could become the one of the best right backs in the world. We had that conversation on last week's episode. I went through who I thought were maybe the top 16, 20 in the world. And honestly, once we got to like 8, 9, and 10, it's like, I think he's with those guys already. And there were a couple of them even in the 4, 5, or 6. It was like the thing that they do very well, it might be better than what he does. But when it comes to just all around, he really makes it tough for a lot of people. And I think by the end of this year, and we're already starting to see some of the heads turn. People who were very negative on him, they're starting to eat crow, or they're acting like they never said anything bad about him ever. And then I even heard that he was getting some like love from the crowd this last match, like a little chanting and stuff like that, which I love to see. When you heard Pep say that, were you like, yeah, that makes sense? Or were you like, that's a crock of shit? Because a couple of people were like, hey, maybe he's just saying that to boost his confidence, make him feel a little bit better about himself. So then maybe he could possibly come there. But yeah, what are your thoughts on first the what Pep said about him, and then we'll kind of keep it moving to what have you seen from him this season as compared to the previous.
So I'd say just on the comments, where why I think it makes sense is because if you were to say, look at kind of building a fullback in a lab, particularly at the way that football is at the moment, when you want a fullback that does have a proper engine on him, that has all the kind of physical qualities to be strong off the ball, strong on the ball, that can go shoulder to shoulder, that can get up and down the pitch, all those kind of qualities, as well as what he's shown being a kind of midfielder, like having a good technical level as well. You think somebody that's able to turn under pressure and carry the ball up the pitch, that does have the crossing ability once he arrives into the final third. Like if you're looking at all these different qualities, they're all the things that you're going to look for in some of the best fullbacks around at the moment. Hakimi and Mendes are going to all have all of these qualities. So I think when you're looking at just that kind of that base level, that's really, really important. He has that. If you gave the physical qualities of Matheus Nunes to Rico Lewis, then I think you've got arguably the best right back in the world, because you're combining all the physical qualities. So I think that's then the separation. And then I think this is a big thing as well. And I think if you look at Nico Riley, I reckon he's kind of made this leap, and we're seeing this leap from Matheus Nunes where they're buying into just being a fullback. And I think that mentally is quite a bit of a leap to make, to be kind of locked in on that position to do your very best.
I love that. No, and that's fair, because especially as like a young player, O'Reilly, which we'll get to, that's tough. But Nunes has been a midfielder his entire career, and he's had relative success there. And then Pep comes, calls him a dum dum when it comes to midfield, and all but disappears him. And then all of a sudden he's at left wing, right back. It is one shown, because there's this phrase that I hate when people call someone like a servant of the club, but I get what they mean. But that's what he's been. And like, people love Zinchenko for it. People love Fabian Delph for it. But for some reason they hate him for doing those things that they have like lauded the other players for. And not only was he a midfielder, he was like an attack-minded midfielder. So now you're going back to being a fullback, where if you mess up, it's not great. So there was going to be a growing pain, and it does seem that he has fully embraced it on the side of City. And I think it's maybe his ability to embrace it is because he's starting to see the success there. Maybe there are people around him who are showing love, and he's just feeling better about himself. Instead of thinking that he is being forced to play a fullback, he's realizing, hey, I actually can make this my own. I love it, and I'm here for it. Sharpie Charlie on our pod is our number one Matthias guy. Like, he has been on his side since he made the move. Like, he was the one being like, hey, we need to be patient, but from a physical standpoint, he has everything that we need of him. And then he just has to get better on the defensively. One of the big things I would make fun of him is he had the Cancelo cool gene, where he just kind of would dangle a foot out, calling it, trying to tackle, trying to poke the ball away, and then the player would just kind of beat him. He's gotten a lot better at that, where he lets the player make the move and he just reacts because he has the agility, the speed, the strength to kind of catch up, worst case, if he's beat. And also, he's super aggressive, and especially if he gets someone in the corner, he's just like pushing, he's getting all physical. I love it. I really have grown to really enjoy him. And I guess the next step to that conversation is, I would still like a right back in the summer. Like, I don't think we need to rush and get one in the winter, but it has kind of pivoted where, you wanted someone who was a ready-made right back, ready to go, and you could just kind of slot them in. Now I think we can bring in somebody who is up and coming, a 20, 21, 22-year-old who you see the promise, but they can't play that stuff all the time because now we have Nunes. Like how do you feel about that? Or would you rather want like a Liverman, so someone who you can kind of insert and they do their thing immediately?
Yeah, I just quickly agree with you with the kind of like defensive side of Mateus Nunes. I think that is what has impressed people the most and why they're kind of bought into him being a bit more of a kind of regular as a right back. Because as you pointed out quite rightly with the kind of actions within the box, and I think Guardiola has also said this a few times that he needs to use his speed. Like you have the physical qualities to be able to deal with the situation. You don't need to kind of arrive and need to put the fire out right away. You can just react as the thing kind of transpires, and that's what he does a lot. And you think about that Villarreal chance where he goes into the box, he just gets himself into the right position to go shoulder to shoulder to be there for the battle. He doesn't need to make a decisive challenge. He doesn't need to win the ball. He just needs to block it and be able to kind of contest that shoulder to shoulder. And then your other thing where you're talking about what they do in the summer. Yes, it's something that I'm kind of thinking through. What's the best way to do it? I probably say at the moment you're leaning towards that a young right back, as you mentioned, is what you'd be looking at. So I know a lot of people mentioned Reed at Feyenoord, Martin Fernandez at Porto, and there's a few others, but not to get too lost on the name. Just the fact that you can buy somebody that's had 1 or 2 seasons at the top flight and be happy with it because you've got somebody like Mateus Nunes to be able to compete with, ease the other guy in, and then you've actually got 2 genuine options at fullback. And with Mateus Nunes, he can play, as you've seen this season, as more of the kind of right centre back. He can move inside as he's played as a midfielder, and then as we saw a lot last season, we saw in the Bournemouth game, he can play out wide and provide the width. So he's got those kind of 3 different roles on lock. Whereas I think with O'Reilly, he's still kind of learning the kind of deeper role, but playing inside, playing out wide, he can do. So yeah, that's where I'd be at. And then the kind of knock on from that